3, 2, 1.
Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome to the Learning Ladder Model Seder. I hope we enjoy this day. We're going to tell the story just like we do every other year in the multipurpose room where we would normally be and start our story. It all began a long, long time ago in a faraway land in Egypt. There was a pharaoh who decided that he wanted all of the firstborn sons to be killed. And so all the parents took their babies and put them in the river. And there was a mom who had a baby son named Moses. And she didn't want anything to happen to her precious baby. So she wrapped her baby Moses up in a blanket, just like so, like your mommy's wrapped you up and your bubbies and zadies. And she put him in a basket. And she took him and she hid him in the very, very tall grasses of the River Nile. Where is baby Moses, Moses, Moses? Where is baby Moses? He's in the River Nile. She put him in a basket, a basket, a basket. She put him in a basket in the River Nile. And he stayed there for a while. So, while Moses was hiding in the river, there was a palace. And in the palace lived a princess. She was the daughter of the Pharaoh. The Pharaoh, though, was so mean to the Jewish people, he made them be slaves, and he made them work so hard and build pyramids and castles and buildings for other people. So take your pretend hammers, and we're going to bang them. Bang, 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 swing your hammers low. Bang, 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 with a heavy blow. For it's work, 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 every day and every night. For it's work, 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 when it's dark and when it's bright. And now we're going to take our shovels and dig. Dig, 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 dig those shovels deep. Dig, dig, dig. There's no time to sleep, for it's work, 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 every day and every night. For it's work, 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 when it's dark and when it's bright. So, Moses didn't stay a tiny baby forever. He grew and he grew and he grew. And one day he said to his mother, I can't stay here with that mean Pharaoh anymore. I'm going to go get a job. I'm going to be a shepherd. Does anybody know what a shepherd is? What's that? Yes, a shepherd is a person who takes care of sheep. Well, one day while Moses was up in the mountains taking care of his sheep, minding his own business and watching his sheep going around and around, he heard a strange noise coming from this beautiful green bush. Out of nowhere, poof, this bush caught fire. And if that wasn't scary enough, Moses heard a voice come from that bush. Moses! Moses! And Moses looked around. Yes? It is me, God. Yes, God. Moses, you are my faithful servant, and I need you to go back to that Pharaoh and tell him to let our people go. And Moses loved God with all of his heart, but he really didn't want to go back to Egypt and tell the Pharaoh to let the people go. But he loved God, so he did what he was asked. So here we go with another one of our old songs that we all know. Oh, listen, oh, listen, oh, listen, King Pharaoh. Oh, listen, let my people go. They work so hard each day, they don't have time to play. King Pharaoh, what do you say? And I know you all know this part, so I'm waiting to hear your responses. What's that? No, 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 I will not let them go. No, 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 I will not let them go. Well, Moses told the Pharaoh that if he didn't let them go, that God was going to strike him with 10 plagues. So we're going to go over those plagues right now so that you can all remember them. Okay, the 10 plagues were blood and frogs and lice and wild animals and pestilence and boils and hail and locusts and darkness and death of the firstborn son. These things were not good. So one morning when Pharaoh woke in his bed, there were frogs in his bed and frogs on his head, frogs on his toes, Frogs on his nose. Frogs were here. Frogs were there. Frogs were jumping everywhere. But you know what? That Pharaoh was a mean old hardhead, and he just didn't want to let those people go. So all these plagues came, and when they did, that's when Moses decided that it was time, and the Pharaoh finally let Moses take the people and set them free. So we're going to go into the Haggadah so we can catch up to where we've been so far, my friends. I'm sorry for the confusion. So this is a Haggadah that we made many years ago. First, we light the candles, which we have ready to set and light. Then we have to make sure we wash our hands and wash them really well, just like the slaves, so they can get all that mortar and things off of them. We have 4 cups of wine, 4 drops that are dropped around the plates. Then we take the matzah. This is a kind of a rubbery matzah, but it's a good sample that we put in our housekeeping during this time of year. And someone takes a piece of matzah and they break it in 2 and they hide it in a special napkin or a bag. And from what I understand, whoever finds that piece of matzah after the meal gets a special prize. And then we have the 4 questions. Why do we have matzah on Pesach? Why do we eat bitter herbs, marrow at the Seder? Why do we dip our vegetables, our food twice for the Seder and the parsley? And why do we lean on a pillow like a king and a queen? So there's our 4 questions. And then we already did our song for baby Moses. This was from a Haggadah many years ago. And then we talked about the burning bush that Moses spoke to God to go to the Pharaoh. And see how the Pharaohs build the pyramids with all of their hard work. And this is why we have haroset, which is made with apples and nuts and raisins and honey and things of that nature that we make every year. We use grape juice up in school to make it for the kids. And then here are the 10 plagues that we talked about. The frogs, the lice, the locusts, the flies, the wild beasts, death, darkness, hail with fire in it. And when the Pharaoh didn't listen, there were the frogs jumping all over him. And then one day, as Moses and the slaves were leaving, they started walking, and they walked, and they walked, and they walked. And finally they get to the sea, and Moses doesn't know what to do. There's no way to get across, and he knows that those soldiers are coming after him. So he lifts up his staff to God, and he goes, God, what am I going to do now? And all of a sudden, like magic, the waves start to churn, and the wind starts to blow, and the water keeps turning and turning and turning, and poof! 2 big walls of water, and the sea is all open on the bottom. So Moses tells the people to quickly go across, and they go across it just as fast as they can. They run and they run and they run, because meanwhile Moses hears those horses and those chariots coming. Use your legs and tap your finger. They're coming, they're coming. So when the soldiers get to the water, Moses lifts up his staff again and goes whoosh, and the sea closes on the soldiers. And the slaves were on the other side, and they were resting, they were still crying, they were hurt. But this is why we have our Seder each year, to remember that it was enough. So when we have our Seder, which we have a Seder plate, which has the egg, which reminds us of spring, the bitter herbs, the shank bone, the haroset, which we would make if we were here, the lettuce, and the parsley that we dip into the salt water. And the salt water reminds us of the tears that were shed by the slaves. And then we have our meal, and we set out that special cup for Elijah in hopes that there was a spare chair there and the doors left open for him to come in. And then we have a silly song that we've grown accustomed to. I'm sure they didn't sing this back in the days. It's called Don't Sit on the Afikomen. My dad at every Seder breaks a matzah piece in 2. He hides the afikomen, half a game for me and you. Hide it, hold it, ransom, for the Seder isn't through till the afikomen's gone. Don't sit on the afikomen. Don't sit on the afikomen. Don't sit on the afikomen, or the meal will last all night. One year Daddy hid it 'neath a pillow on a chair, and just as I raced over, my Aunt Sophie sat down there. She threw herself upon it, awful crunching filled the air, and crumbs flew all around. Don't sit on the afikomen. Don't sit on the afikomen. Don't sit on the afikomen, or the meal will last all night. There were matzah crumbs all over. Oh, what such a messy sight. We swept up all the pieces, though it took us half the night. So if you want your Seder ending sooner than dawn's light, don't sit on the afikomen. Don't sit on the afikomen. Don't you sit on the afikomen. Don't sit on the afikomen, or the meal will last all night. And that, my friends, is the end of the Seder, when you can go and find the afikomen. And then we have one more song that we like to sing. Ili hotzi hotzianu hotzianu mi mitzrayim hotzianu mi mitzrayim dayenu. All of you sing with me. Dayenu, 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 dayenu. Happy Pesach.